Hey guys, John Madden here from JuCoProBaseball.com, and I got a great question today from Squirrel Tamer 05, and he asks, I've heard that something like 300 junior college players get drafted every year. If that's true, do they get drafted straight out of JuCo, or do they play JuCo and move to a bigger school and then get drafted? And if they do get drafted straight out of JuCo, do you know if more players are drafted out of JuCo or NAIA? Well, that's a great question. I am a big believer in going to JuCo before you go to a four-year school. I went to JuCo for my freshman and sophomore years before I went to Auburn University, and I recommend it to all my players. And there's a few reasons that I recommend going for everyone to go to the JuCo level. Well, maybe not everyone, but most players to go to the JuCo level as opposed to jumping right into the four-year school. And the first one is, if you have the aspirations of playing professional baseball, you're going to keep your draft eligibility all 4 years, meaning you can get drafted your senior year of high school, your freshman year, after your freshman year of college, after your sophomore year, after your junior year, and after your senior year. If you go to JuCo, meaning after your sophomore year, then you can transfer to a 4-year and get drafted after your junior. But if you go from high school to a 4-year, you can't get drafted until after your junior year of college. So you're losing those 2 years in between. And let's say, for instance, you have a great freshman year where you should be able to get drafted, but then you get hurt your sophomore year. You know, it's a big chance, in my opinion, that you're limiting yourself for that draft eligibility. So I think that's a huge factor if you're if you have your ambitions of playing in pro baseball, so you keep your draft eligibility all 4 years. Another reason why I like recommending JuCo over a 4-year college is the scholarships. At a JuCo, I think right now they're getting 18, if they have the money, they're getting 18 scholarships for a men's baseball team. At a 4-year school, I think right now the scholarships are 11 point something, and they can divide those up however they want. So they can give someone 20%, 30%, and divvy them up to their 25 players however they see fit. At the JuCo level, the 18 scholarships that they get, they have to give 18 full scholarships. So if you're a scholarship caliber player, you're going to get a full scholarship going to JuCo. So that's another huge benefit of going to JuCo instead of going straight to the 4-year school. Another reason I like the JuCo as a step before a 4-year school is the level of play. Now, the difference between the level of play is you're still going to have that high, especially here in Florida, you're going to have that high caliber of player, and we're recruiting guys across the country, but the other guys who are coming to play on that team may not be as high. So the gap between the lower level players and the higher level players is going to be a little bit different than a 4-year school where the playing field is a lot more even, meaning the lineup's going to be a little bit thicker, the pitchers might be a little bit better overall, but you're still going to have a very high-end caliber players at the JuCo level, especially here in the southern states, maybe Texas and California, Arizona as well. So that's another huge benefit, is not just jumping right in. And to be honest with you, these JuCos down here, in my opinion, are under the D1. Like if you had to classify the level of play, I would say D1, then JuCo, then D2, D3, NAIA, so on. So, you know, you're not jumping right into that highest level. You got a little buffer zone to get used to, you know, some of those better hitters or pitchers if you're a hitter. And then another huge benefit of the JuCo is the level of school. Meaning, if you go to a 4-year school, you have the possibility of being in a class with 200 to 300 kids in that class. Now, if you go to JuCo, chances are the classes are going to be a whole lot smaller. You might have 20, 30 kids in a class. So it's a lot easier to learn, it's a lot easier to get better grades, and that just gives you a head start for, you know, getting some credits under your belt when you do go to that 4-year school, so you're a lot closer to graduation instead of struggling in school your freshman and sophomore year and then having to worry about baseball on the side as well. It's a lot easier if you go the JuCo route, in my opinion. Another reason, and you might say, no, this doesn't apply to me, but you can get homesick your freshman year of college. And believe me, I said, I'm not going to be homesick. I'm going to go. I'm never coming home. You know, I can't wait to get out of here. And my freshman year, I was about an hour and a half away. I was home every single weekend my freshman year. So you will get a little homesick. So that's another benefit of staying close to home at the JuCo level. You know, you'll be able to come home. Now my sophomore year, I didn't come home at all. So, you know, it's just that little first year, get you staying home, close to home, you know, feeling a little better instead of going off a few states away to a big school. You know, it might be a benefit for some of you guys. Another reason is the cost of tuition. Let's say you're not a scholarship caliber player and you got to pay, you know, you're going to be a walk-on at either one, whether it be the JuCo or the four-year school. The tuition cost is usually a lot cheaper at a junior college. So that could be a huge benefit if you're not getting a scholarship, JuCo versus four-year school, and especially NAIA. I've realized that a lot of the NAIA schools are usually a lot more expensive, and I mentioned NAIA because you asked in your question specifically about NAIA, and they typically seem a lot more expensive than the JuCo level. Another reason I like the JuCo is because you may not be a scholarship caliber player to a four-year institution right off the bat coming out of high school, so they might not want to say, okay, you can walk on, come play for us. But what if you went to JuCo, developed yourself, and became a better player? Now after 2 years, you become more attractive to that four-year school, and you may get more scholarship money out of them. And they're actively seeking and recruiting good JuCo players to come in and contribute to their team right away. So that's a big recruiting tool for four-year schools, is looking for some of the best JuCo players to come in and contribute right away. So that's another huge one. Instead of losing money coming out as a freshman, saying, oh, I'll just go because I want to play D1 or 4 years college so bad. But if you waited 2 years, developed, got better, you may be able to get more money, more scholarship money from them. So that's another huge benefit of going to JuCo versus a four-year school. Another reason is, if you think about it, JuCo, everyone who's going to that school, the regular population of the school, is traveling from home, going to school, and then going back home, or their parents' home, probably, most likely. But at the JuCo level here, you're probably going to stay in an apartment or somewhere off campus, and you can imagine that, you know, where does everyone want to go to hang out? I mean, you're going to be the big man on campus, so you got a lot of popularity. It's very fun, you know, so that's another huge advantage, in my opinion, to JuCo over the four-year school. Not to saying you're not going to be popular at the four-year school, but you got tons of other sports there, other athletes, and everyone is living off campus, so they've got their own places to hang out and everything. So, you know, to me, it's like you're not as popular, not the BMOC, not the big man on campus anymore. You know what I'm saying? And then lastly, the NAIA versus JuCo, because you asked specifically. You know, like I said, scholarship-wise, tuition-wise, you know, I just think JuCo is better overall. I don't know how many guys get drafted from each one, but I'm guessing more out of JuCo just because you keep that draft eligibility for those first 2 years, and a lot of guys go that route because of keeping their draft eligibility. So I don't know the exact answer to the number of guys who get drafted versus JuCo and NAIA, but I'm guessing that it's higher at the JuCo level. More guys get drafted from JuCo, than they do NAIA. I hope that answers your question. One other quick note is that D3, at four-year school, D3, they don't give scholarships. So just be aware of that when you're looking into picking a college. You can't get a scholarship at a D3. So I hope that helped. Hope that answered your questions. If you have any more questions, let me know. Leave them below. I'll be happy to answer them. And don't forget to join the free newsletter at ugoprobaseball.com. Thanks, guys.
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and then join the free newsletter at ugoprobaseball.com.